Now, if you've been counting, it's less than 14 days to the kickoff of the 2023 general elections. As citizens are still wondering what impact women and youths will have on the outcome of the election. Our focus tonight, however, is how much power the female voter will wield in this election. The man with the answers, Leadership by Data founder and Channel Television's data analyst, Babajide Ogusowo, is here with the answers. Babajide, great to see you. Couldn't have you earlier, but it's nice to see you here. So is there data, though, that women will have a significant role in the outcome of this election?
So it depends on how we look at it. There are three key things we should consider. The first is, in 2019, Amachi, there were 40 million women registered to vote. Now, 44 million. The second is, in 2019, there were only 8 states that had more female registered voters than male. Now, there are 9 states that have more female registered voters than male. The third and final thing we'll look at is to look at the difference between the southern female voter and the northern female voter. But let's take a look at the states that have the highest concentration of female voters, the states that will then be able to look at what will likely go on. And these are the facts. In 2019, there were only 8 states that had more female registered voters relative to men. All 8 states were in southern Nigeria. 4 of those states in the southwest, Osun, Ekiti, Ogun, and Oyo, in 2019 had more registered female voters than male voters. In the southeast, another 4 states, Anambra, Imo, Enugu, and Ebonyi State. What you'll notice is that in 2019, there was no northern state that had more female registered voters relative to men. All 8 states that had more female voters came from southern region. But look at what's happened in 2023.
Sorry, is there a reason why that is?
We need to interrogate it more. Perhaps what we see is that more women are liberal in the southern region. More women are liberal. But we've seen a state in the north this time around where it has more female registered voters compared to men, and that is Kogi State. Just like 2019, Oyo State still has more female registered voters today. Anambra State still has more female registered voters compared to men. Same thing with Ogun, Imo, Enugu, like 2019, still has more female registered voters. The difference now is Kogi State. Today, Kogi State is the only state in the nation that has more, in the northern region, that has more female registered voters relative to men. And that is the fact. So those 9 states will influence who becomes the president, House of Reps winner, Senate, and all the other elective positions.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, if there's not much of a difference, it's possible that it's the same people who registered the last time that also registered this time, right?
It's the same people, but again, in the database last time, 40 million women, now we have an additional 4 women, 44 million women. And 9 states right now have more female voters. Now we have Kogi State, the only state in northern region that has more female voters. In all, I would say the southern region has quality representation, quality. And I'll explain the difference between quality and quantity as we go on.
Yeah, and so what are the factors that women prioritize before they cast their ballots? I know the women think very differently from men. There are issues that are more important to us than, the menfolk. Yeah,
so again, let's take a look at the facts, because that will allow us to know what exactly is going on. Now, among those 44 million registered voters, the fact shows that half of the women who are registered to vote live in 13 states. And if you look at those 13 states, 8 of those states are in the southern region, 5 of those states, again, are in the northern region. Lagos today has the most female registered voters, 3.2 million. We see Kano, Kaduna, Katsina with high representation as well. You see Lagos, Kano, Kaduna are the only 3 states that each have more than 2 million registered voters. In all, keep an eye on these 13 states, because these 13 states are the states that account for half of all women who have currently registered to vote. But what we also need to look at is what I call the quality, the quantity of representation. Because when INEC did the registration, they asked a vital question, and that was, as a woman, what is your profession? Are you a housewife? Are you a student? Are you a trader? But the fact shows there are some states that have significant high concentration of housewives. And that influences, what they talk about, buy one, get one free. In the northern region, that is where we have a high concentration of housewives. And I would like us to focus a bit on that and the implications of that on the election.
And maybe the significance as well, because you've mentioned the issue of housewives before and the large numbers of them registering to vote in these elections.
And housewives is the key. Housewives are the key. It has been understated, but I would like to show you how important housewives are if we're able to quickly look at the information on housewives to show how concentrated housewives are. Now, here's what I mean, Amachi. Look at these 12 states. Zamfara, 911,000 women have registered. 82% say they are housewives. Jigawa, 1.1 million registered women. 80% say they're housewives. In other words, the states that have the highest concentration, the 12 states that have the highest concentration of housewives are in northern Nigeria. Again, I'll repeat that. The 12 states that have the highest concentration of women who say they are housewives are in the northern region. Here's why this is important, and I'd like you to pay close attention to this. These 12 states, the same candidate always wins it. In 2019, one candidate won all these 12 states. In 2015, one candidate won all these 12 states. In 2011, one candidate won all these 12 states. You're wondering what is happening? What is happening is the evidence and the surveys shows that in these states, the leader of the house is the man. And in most times, it influences the direction the housewives vote.
Right.
So that's why I talk about buy one, get one free. When campaigning, if you're able to convince the family head in any of these states, then you've also gotten his housewives. You've gotten his family. So you get one vote from a man in any of these 12 states, you're able to get his housewives because the women who mainly live in these states are housewives. And again, I repeat, same candidate won all these 12 states in 2019, same candidate 2015, same even 2011. The question is, will the same candidates win the same states? What the jury is out saying is that even if the same candidate doesn't win all the states, the same one candidate will win majority of the states, and that leads, and that is the route to victory. Housewives, it has been underplayed.
Well, I guess on the side, you avoid, any political wrangles at the dinner table because everyone is on the same page.
Everyone is on the same page, but don't forget there are only 19 states in the north. 12 states in the north has the highest concentration of housewives. And what we've seen in the last 3 election cycles is that one candidate has always won the states. We've interrogated why, and one major explanation is because in these 12 states, they have the highest concentration of housewives. So when you get one person once you convince one person, once you convince the leader of the household is able to convince his wives.
Yeah, but I was wondering, though, whether women do prioritize some issues more than the men when they're thinking about elections.
So the surveys show women prioritize health, women prioritize education, women prioritize income, the welfare of their families. And that's what the survey shows. Health, they prioritize education, and they prioritize the welfare of their family. But in the final analysis, it's 2 weeks to the election. Next week when we do this, I'll share what all Nigerians want to know. Who will win this election? So next week, Sunday, I'll provide the facts, and you'll find out who will win this election.
Wow, you have a crystal ball ready for us, I guess, Babajide. Always coming up with these props. Thanks again for joining us on the News at 10. I appreciate your being here.